And apparently we're live, which is always a bonus. I'm sure you'll tell me, Nev. Hello, PTUK land.
We are.
Hopefully we've got audio as well. Oh, dear. Oh, dear.
There you go.
Oh, good. We've got audio.
Just checking. Mr. Wilson is joining us.
Oh, good.
Hello, gentle spoons.
Hello. Now, we are live.
We are live.
No effing and jeffing.
Hello, gentlemen.
For another 2 hours at least.
And people of YouTube.
Yeah, you're quite quiet again, Andy.
Unusually for him.
Yeah.
He's normally got lots to say.
What?
You are quiet.
Am I?
Yes.
There's nothing I can do about that. I see him every time, isn't it? Hang on.
It's weird how you can't
do this.
Turn your
How about that?
That's better. Oh, what do you do?
There we go. I just turned up the input on Zoom. No, whatever this is. Yeah, this is Zoom, isn't it?
Yeah, Zoom.
I got the stitches out. Look at that beard.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
Hold on. Let me just switch the camera so our YouTube people can see how...
No, if people are squeamish, they don't want to see that. Yes, there you go. It's like I've got my initial in my hand.
Oh, you
Looks like I've been branded.
I wonder if that'll scar. Whether that will scar.
Yeah, big time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my
Well,
mother
that was me saying to Mazouz we didn't have any medical reports for today, and now we have. So there we are. Oh.
Yeah. Everyone will be sending you flowers now, Andy. They're all worried about you.
Well, high levels of sympathy, I'm sure. But, yeah.
Restart the VT clock. There we go. And restart that. Just getting everything ready.
I wonder when Andy's going to be back in the left-hand seat of his A320. Oh, he's on the phone now. Look at that.
Yeah. I'm surprised the airline can cope without him.
Well, yeah, I mean, the rate that they're opening new bases and airport expansion going on at Luton left, right and centre, isn't there? Or the prospect of it. So, yeah. Very good. Well, we've got a very packed show tonight, ladies and gents. An awful lot going on. So we've got some very good news and some very sad news as well to report.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I hope it's not the PTUK jinx that's causing the sad news. We'll talk about that later on. Oh, dear.
Hello, I'm back again.
Oh, he's back.
I'm back.
I was just asking, when do you think you'll be back in the left-hand seat?
I think it's going to take a few weeks. I mean, it's healed. Like, I'm all healed up, but now all the flesh on top is coming away, and it's quite hypersensitive at the moment as well. They've told me I've got to do all this massage and stuff on it for quite a long while. But I can do everything with it. It's fully functional. So I don't know. I think I'll expect a couple more weeks yet before you'll...
perhaps a nice golfing glove on there for the throttle quadrant, perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like a leather driving glove.
To be honest. I think that would look ridiculous.
Also make you look a bit special as well.
Yeah. Well, I'm very special now.
Well, we know that, of course.
I'll tell you what, I've got some really quite fetching luminescent orange thermal lined gloves at work, Andy, which you could probably you could use.
I'm all right, thanks. I'm all right. I'm just looking at the chat room there. Bill, I'm glad you made your donation last week, otherwise I wouldn't let you after that comment. And Darren, I am left-handed actually, so it was harder for me to fly in the right-hand seat.
Oh, that's a point, isn't it? Yeah, I hadn't thought about that.
Actually, Andy, any I mean, we should talk about this on the show, really, but any updates on on the super duper draw?
It's not sold out yet, so it's still going.
Okay.
I've been advertising it in further places as well. Get those 100 tickets sold.
So potentially one of our listeners could potentially be flying a very nice sim.
Yeah. Well, I best actually read the show notes. So I have been working today, but I've been doing my desk job. I had 450 emails in my inbox.
Oh, God.
Tanya in the chat room, Andy's got some advice for your hand.
Arnica ointment. I'll look that up. Thank you.
Oh, my mum used to recommend that for bruises that I used to come back from school with. It's a very odd smell, I have to say, but it is very effective, and it will certainly bring a bruise out if you've got one on your shin or something like that. But it's also quite good for what you've got, I think.
Yeah. Bio oil as well, something told me as well.
If it's still available. I mean, most of these things have
disappeared.
Discontinued due to...
I'll tell you what, before we go on air now, I'll tell you what it does remind me of. You know the fatty, veiny bit you sometimes get in steak? That's what it reminds me of.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Darren's suggesting WD-40.
Oh, yes. Fixes everything, that. Water dispersant 40th attempt.
Oh, dear. Funny.
And tell you all about WD-40. Had to download the safety data sheets for that this week.
Oh, okay.
Big audit coming up in a few months' time. So got to make sure we are fully compliant for our wonderful UK regulations with safety data sheets for everything.
Oh, yes, you've got to tick those boxes, mate.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes.
Although we did pull me up on the fact today, the assessor guy that was coming around to check was that have we got any things to say that our ladders are okay to use? I was like, no, just get on them and climb up.
Are you ready with the clock, Carlos?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. Yeah, when do you want me to hit it?
In about 10 seconds' time.
Okay.
5.
It was at that point, VMix.
Oh. We're going to be late.
No, it was bloody things to support this. Let's restart it. Right. I had it all loaded up as well. Oh. Don't know why I was doing that for. Typical, innit? Every time. Let me try loading the VT clock up in there again.
Have we started?
No.
Yes, we will do.
Well, we have, but we haven't, if you see what I mean.
There we go.
But a technical issue.
There we go. It's fired. I had to reload again at the VMix. But we're ready. Here we go.
Good.
Ten, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
Well, hello and welcome to episode 546 of the Plain Talking UK podcast. I'm Carlos, and in this week's show, police escort a Gloucester mum off a Ryanair flight after she's unable to pay for her Pringles. I know. British Airways changed their boarding rules yet again after a new system rollout, and Luton Airport expansion gets the UK government's go-ahead. We also have some sad news to report about the simulator facility that we use for our 500th show, and we'll discuss that at the end of the commercial news segment. In the military news this week, the iconic Royal Air Force Red Arrows jets are in danger of being replaced by Russian planes loved by President Putin in a move slammed as outrageous. And we look at how the US Air Force equips the F-16s with AI flight systems. We're also going to show Nev's video of his trip to Brooklands on the Concorde simulator again, after we had a few technical issues with it last week. And he's joining us this week, back again over in the glorious countryside that is the sprawling manor of Buckinghamshire. It is, of course, Neville Bounds. Hello, Nev. How are you?
Hello, matey. Yes, I'm back for some more. And yeah, we've had some tremendous weather over here as well. I don't know if it's been like in your part of the country, but the sun has been out 15, 16, 17 degrees Celsius. And yeah, very nice indeed, actually. Very pleasant for being outside. Although considering I'm not working these days, I'm very well occupied by doing all sorts of things. Which is nice, but yeah, lots of gardening, lots of car bits and pieces going on, and all sorts of things. So, and planning for other events later this year as well. Been doing a lot of work on that this last couple of days.
You know what Gemma said to me that weekend now? She said, going to go and cut the grass on Sunday afternoon. I said, no, I'm not going to cut the grass. I'm too busy. And then I'm glad I didn't, Nev, because we had a mornings of frosts all this week so far.
Yeah, it's been very cold, isn't it? First thing in the morning, but yeah, soon warms up though. But because of the Heathrow's been on easterlies the last week and a half, I think. We see a lot of aircraft coming over our house as well. There's about 10,000 feet, something like that. Just they come off or just they're going into the Bovingdon hold. To the northwest of London. So, yeah, been seeing lots of stuff, lots of flight radar 24 activity as well. Yeah, but great to be back on the show this week.
Awesome. Good to see you in here, as always, Nev. Now, we're missing Matt again this week. He's been called off to a medical medical appointment, I should say, but he'll hopefully be back with us next week. But he's back with us again this week. Our resident king of all thing A320 is, of course, our sim training captain as well. Andy, welcome back.
Hello, back again. Another week, 2 weeks in a row. 3 weeks in a row?
3 weeks
in a row, anyway. Yes.
How are you, Andy?
I'm good, thanks. Very good. Got rid of all the bandages and stuff now, so that's good. Hands healing up well.
Excellent. That's what we like to hear. Healing well. But yes, anything exciting been going on in the world of Andy apart from healing and all that? I'll take it you've still been working behind that desk.
Yes, I've been doing the desk job for a bit, and plenty of emails and other bits and pieces to keep me busy outside of the cockpit. But yes, all is well here. It's been nice and sunny, but it hasn't been particularly warm up here, and it's been very frosty on a morning. And in terms of aircraft, all I ever see every morning when I'm out walking the dog is the early Heathrow flight into Newcastle. Go overhead.
Oh. And wishing you were up there with it, I suppose.
Nah.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Well, I was jumping out the other day outside because I heard something flying over quite low. And it was one of our resident KLM flights heading out of Norwich over to Amsterdam, coming over here at about 3,500 feet on its way out across towards Amsterdam. But yeah, we are lucky here. Although this afternoon, when I left off from work at 5 o'clock to get home here, we had our friends from Wattisham over at the US Air Force Base over at Wattisham, where they were flying the Apaches quite low, I will say, over the A143 this afternoon. Almost so low that I could virtually see what the pilot was, how he'd got his hairstyle, which is quite interesting. But we are lucky to have those guys flying over here quite a lot on the old Apaches. It is quite a sight to see. I don't know whether you get the Apaches buzzing around your neck of the woods, Andy, but we get them quite a lot over here.
No. Your dinner's arrived as well.
My dinner's just arrived as well, exactly. Oh, dear. So we've got lots to get through on the show today, including our retro airline ad of the week. Nev, have you read the notes to see what this week's one's about?
I'm just doing it now because I knew you would ask me about that. Looking forward to this one. This is a very rare aircraft. Not many of these were made in the Boeing factory. So, looking forward to talking about that.
Yes, it's going to be an eye-opening advert, that's for sure. It's very retro. Captain Cruz has asked in the chat room, how's the move progressing? Well, we're at that stage I was talking to Nev about earlier before we went live, at that stage where all the paperwork has gone to the solicitors that are paid ridiculous amounts of money to do things. So we're just waiting now, just literally waiting for everything to kind of start moving. I suppose. Like I said to Nev, we haven't moved for nearly 10 years, and I've forgotten how long it takes to do this kind of moving thing here in the UK. Ages, as always. But let's have a look and see who's in the YouTube chat room this evening. Joining us, we have got top of the list, Mazouz. Hello to you, Mazouz. Good to see you in there. Hobby Time is in there, says hello. Captain Cruz. Good to see you in there. Richard Adams is in, says evening all. Darren Smith, evening PTUK. He says hello to you, Darren. Bill's in there. Good to see you, Bill. We've got Tanya, the lovely Tanya's in there, offering her health advice for Andy, which is always very good. Richard E. Flagg, evening folks, says good to see you in there, Richard. Hopefully meet up with you soon, Richard. We'll have to go and meet up over at Thorpe Abbott's at some point. Dirk S., hello to you. Wouldn't be the chat room without Dirk in there. Masha as well. Hello to you, Masha. Stephen Patterson says, Nev, what's this retirement exercise nonsense?
Well, he's got a good
Stephen
point there.
says.
But yes, as I pointed out just now, I've got 5.5 years of customer dinners to get rid of, basically. So that's going to take some doing. But I'm making an effort anyway.
Who else we got? Tanya's in there. We've got Captain Cruz. Alex March. Hello to Alex March. New name in the chat room. And welcome to everyone who's joined us in the chat room tonight for the show. Don't forget, if you don't already subscribe to us, look us up on YouTube, Plain Talking UK. Don't forget to click the subscribe and bell icon to be notified when we're live and doing shows like we are right now, each Wednesday at 7 o'clock. Right, so we've got stacks to get through on the show this week, and it's time to do some commercial news. So if all the team are ready,
Yep.
let's go.
Seatbelt light. Please take your seats and fasten your seatbelts.
Just looking at it, Richard's saying in the chat room need to fly the drone. I'd love to have a go at flying a drone, trust me. First story this week comes to us from futuretravelexperience.com. And TUI Airlines, or TUI here, select InFly to transform their in-flight digital experience with flexible, scalable technology. Now, TUI Airlines has selected InFly, and a leader in digital onboard solutions, to carry out a significant transformation of the onboard experience. As part of this collaboration, InFly's next generation digital platform is being integrated into TUI's 737-800s and 737-8 aircraft, with up to 60 aircraft live to customers by 2025. With the deployment, TUI's implementing InFly's cutting-edge technology designed to enhance passenger experience through seamless connectivity and entertainment. TUI's passengers will gain access to a fully digital in-flight ecosystem featuring real-time messaging, enabling passengers to stay connected through WhatsApp during the flight, with Immerfly delivering this service via Iridium connectivity. Experiences, browsers, you can browse, book experiences, activities, tickets instantly through the integration with TUI Musemet Marketplace. Premium entertainment, you'll be able to enjoy the latest movies, TV shows, podcasts, like hopefully PTUK, games and much more for a small fee. Now, it doesn't say what that fee is, but my guess is it's probably not going to be all that cheap. With the solution of the chosen feature, opportunities for TUI and its customers can include instant payment validation through Iridium Certus, unlocking all types of e-commerce activities on board, including ordering food and beverages from the seat. The partnership with Imfly underscores our commitment, they said, to continuously enhance the in-flight experience with innovative technology-driven solutions, said Jill Nye, Director of Customer Crew and In-Flight Services at TUI. Imfly has proven to be the ideal partner, customising their solution to meet our specific needs, allowing constant customer experience across our European-wide fleet. The expertise, vision and dedication to qualify have been instrumental in the success of this initiative, and they said we're delighted to announce that TUI Musement experiences will be also live and available on board, offering our customers a new way to plan their holiday moments during their flight. So a key aspect of the initiative is Imfly's onboard technology and its antenna-agnostic system, ensuring flexibility for TUI's connectivity strategy. TUI Airlines has initially chosen the Iridium Certus antenna, offering LEO, or low Earth orbit connectivity, with a cost-effective approach. This future-proof solution allows for seamless upgrades to high-speed connectivity without costly cabin hardware modifications, should TUI Airlines choose to do so in the future. Partnering with TUI represents a bold step forward in shaping the future of in-flight entertainment with experience. And when their Inquilux Aero's revolutionary cabin hardware and our cutting-edge IFEC software, we're setting new standards for passenger connectivity. And they're also deeply grateful to Boeing, Iridium and Meta for the unwavering support in making this vision a reality. So, onboard technology, obviously with most long-haul airlines, we get to have TVs on board the aircraft already built into to the rear of the seats. But this, Nev, I think is one of the case of I think you take your own iPad and or your tablet or smart device and link up to a Wi-Fi network and stream movies, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big part of the experience, isn't it, I think? And one of the most frustrating things is when it doesn't work, or you've paid for something and it doesn't work. And that tends to happen on the transatlantic flights or the Far Eastern flights sometimes. But certainly this, with new technology and people bringing their own iPads and tablets generally. I mean, and obviously they're trying to keep the weight out of the aircraft as well. That's the other thing I would imagine here. So there's obviously some base station stuff that they need for it and connectivity. But no, it looks like a good solution. Be interesting to see who else rolls this out as well.
Yeah, I think in the past, didn't TUI have the overhead pop-down TFT monitors on the ceiling and on their older aircraft?
Yeah, and they some very old ones that they had some CRT stuff as well, and I think there was I think I had some 3-gun projectors, the CRT projectors too, which during turbulence was quite amusing because it was bouncing around all over the place because everybody had to watch the same channel as well. That was the other thing. But no, I think this is definitely a way forward, and with the better satellite technology that they've got as well. And better bandwidth availability, I think that should work pretty well.
As a passenger, Andy, I'm guessing that when you're back there in those seats at the back of the aircraft, are you a lover of IFE? Are you that bothered by the standard or quality of IFE when you're flying?
No, I'm happy. I'm very old-fashioned. I don't want to be connected to the world. I don't want WhatsApp messages. I don't want the news. Just like when I'm at work, it's peace and quiet on a flight, and that's all I'm interested in. A good book, might read something on my iPad. That's it. So great for people who like this sort of thing, but for me, nah.
There you go. I must admit, I do love a watch a film when I'm flying. It's even better when you're in business class, to be fair. But
oh, of course, everything's better in business class. Come on.
Right, Andy, we're sticking with you for this next one. And I found this story a couple of days ago, and this amused the heck out of me. I tell you honestly. If you're a fan of snacks, you'll love this story.
Yeah, well, yes. This is from gloucestershireLive.co.uk, and police escort Gloucester mum off Ryanair flight after she's unable to pay for Pringles, of all things. A Gloucestershire mum says she was left in shock after police were called after being unable to pay for a tube of Pringles. Officers escorted the 55-year-old off a Ryanair jet after she ate the crisps from the trolley before paying. Anne-Marie Murray ordered the Pringles, water and a cola on a flight from Tenerife to Bristol on March the 28th. The bill came to a whopping £7. But she was unable to pay when the in-flight card machine would not accept payment and she had no cash. 3 police officers arrived and put the Housing Association worker in the back of their van, the Mirror reports. The airline said crew called ahead for passenger assistance after a passenger became disruptive. But Anne-Marie said, I wasn't disruptive. There were no raised voices. I was doing my best to pay. I tried to tap and pay, but the machine didn't work. They tried with another machine, and when it still didn't go through, I offered to get cash when we landed, but they said I couldn't do that. Anne-Marie said her partner asked a steward if they wanted the Pringles back and was told no. She added, I thought it was a joke when the crew said they called the police. I was shocked when the police came on board and we were asked to leave. It was so embarrassing. I'd done everything I could to resolve it. They then told the police I had refused to pay, but that wasn't the case. I wanted to pay, but my card didn't work and I had no cash. Anne-Marie had been visiting the Canary Islands with her partner for a 4-night mini break to celebrate her birthday and says the incident ruined the trip. She says she had previously witnessed another passenger struggling to pay with chip and PIN card from the same bank on another Ryanair flight and was left shocked when staff didn't take a more pragmatic approach. She said, luckily the police were lovely and after I explained the situation, they took me to a cash machine and I was able to pay the £7. The officers were laughing and couldn't believe it. After I paid, the crew told me we were banned from flying with Ryanair, but I'd never fly with them again anyway after what happened. So there you go. Now, if I was the police, there, I'd be getting in touch with Ryanair about wasting police time.
Honestly,
it's unbelievable.
I thought this was a joke. I honestly thought this was an offshoot off the April 1st kind of April Fool's joke thing. But it was on about 6 or 7 different mainstream news feeds. Nev, thoughts?
Yeah, it's pathetic, isn't it? It's just awful, just even reading it and listening to it. Yeah, of course, the police have got endless resources, haven't they? So they can just rock up and deal with these sort of situations. I mean, if I was there, I'd have, well, because they don't take cash, do they? I seem to recall.
No.
But I would have just got somebody else to pay or suggested that the airline have a bit of a word with themselves because it's just ridiculous.
I wonder what the cabin crew told the captain, because he's the one who'll have called for the police.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
He must, they must have said something really bad was happening for the police to be called. If somebody came to me and said, they can't pay their £7, will you call the police? I'd be saying, don't be so silly.
Yeah.
I'll pay the £7 if it's that much of a problem.
Well, precisely. I think he's only interested if there's a threat to airline safety or disruptive passengers or whatever. Oh,
that's crazy.
Richard in the chat room saying, not surprised you need a mortgage to buy Pringles on Ryanair.
Good point. Yeah.
I know it's not cheap to buy snacks like that on board.
They're only £1.85 in Sainsbury's at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Other shops are available.
Yes, quite.
But why not do what most people tend to do? What I see 90% of people do before they board a Ryanair flight is go to one of the local outlets in the airport, or whether it be WH Smith or Boots or whatever, and purchase a meal deal. Just whack it in your bag, take it on board, boom, cheap meal.
Yeah, well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? But I don't know.
Obviously, in your seat, Nev, you obviously have it all supplied.
Well, yes, but at the same time, if I, in the very unusual situation, if I was able to be flying on that airline, I would probably have stocked up beforehand,
Goes point out that me and Nev are off to the Bray Air show in August, and I'm flying over with Ryanair, and Nev is driving over because I think that the thought of having to fly over with Ryanair with me was just too much of a shock for Nev.
Oh yeah, no, I'll take a 2.5 hour ferry with Mrs. Nev rather than No, I'm joking, of course. But
Poor Mrs. Nev, really.
well, I was going to say, it's her problem, isn't it? Not mine, in many respects. But yeah.
Right, Nev, you've got some news for fellow BA customers.
Oh, this is another thing that just winds me up. Boarding an aircraft. How difficult can it be? Well, British Airways make it as difficult as possible. On the Examiner live.co.uk, it says that passengers flying with British Airways are set for a smoother experience as the airline implements an overhaul of its boarding process. The changes see the old 9-group system streamlined to just 5 groups for long haul and 4 groups for short haul trips. The new approach by BA aims to expedite boarding in economy class after feedback suggested that 10 groups were overcomplicating the process. As part of the revamp, groups 7 to 9 have been scrapped for long haul flights, whilst groups 6 to 9 have been cut from short-haul journeys. Economy flyers will now board as either group 4, 5 or 6 on longer flights, and only groups 4 and 5 on shorter routes. With this grouping, those sat towards the rear of the plane, I hope you're keeping up with this, by the way, in group 4 can seamlessly reach their seats without having to navigate past travellers seated at the front. The rationale behind the move is to allow those in Group 4 to board and stow away their belongings without obstruction, leading to a less congested gate area. BA's website explains that the update will simplify boarding, reduce congestion at the gate, and make things easier for you. On long-haul flights, Group 1 is reserved for first British Airways Club Gold members and One World Emerald elites, reports Birmingham Live. Group 2 includes business, Club World passengers, British Airways Club Silver members and One World Sapphire affiliates, whilst Group 3 caters to premium economy flyers, British Airways Club Bronze card holders, One World Ruby members and Air Club's Silver, Platinum and Concierge patrons. Groups 4 to 9 are assigned based on your seat row number for boarding from the back to the front of the cabin. It's possible for passengers travelling together to receive different group numbers. If this happens, you're advised to proceed to the gate where you'll be permitted to board as a group. BA have clarified their policy. We invite families with infants under 2 and young children in pushchairs to board first so that you and your family can settle in. Please get to the gate at least 50 minutes before departure. Yes, you did hear that correctly. 50 minutes before departure so that you are ready to board and we have enough time to load your pushchair in the hold. They've also added, we will assist you onto the aircraft ahead of other passengers so that you have time to settle in and get comfortable. Please contact us at least 48 hours before your flight so that we can make arrangements for you. I can't find the words. I really can't find the words for this.
I'm really confused, Nev. So by reading this, Group 4 gets on first to avoid everybody else. Then where does Group 1, 2 and 3 get on? And then before that, there's a no-number group with infants under 2.
The funny thing is, when I was at Stockholm, Arlanda, a few weeks before I retired, so it was at the back end of last year, I think it was, there was a bit of confusion at the gate and some weird stuff going on. So the gate staff, who are very efficient at Arlanda, just said, everybody can board now. So everybody boarded at the same time. And you know what? It worked really well. And now, to be fair, there weren't many young families on that flight, but it was mainly business and sort of social travelling people. But it worked really well. But if you want to see boarding chaos in action, just go to any BA flight that's Heathrow, less so at Gatwick, but certainly Heathrow, Edinburgh, Glasgow. It is absolute chaos the way they board it. And I don't know how, well, they can improve it by stop making all these bloody announcements. There is too much noise in the gate area in a highly reverberant space, and people that are coming to the gate not late, but not in with the initial wave of people that rock up, get half the message, and they think it's time to board. So they go steaming to the front, and they go, no, it's not time to board yet. And it's just mayhem. It is absolutely awful. And this is their idea of simplification, then I would like to see their idea of complicating it, because it's just unbelievably bad. It's been bad for years, but the last couple of years have been extraordinarily painful. And it can't do anything for people's blood pressure, let alone the people on the gate, who will have to say, in general terms, do a reasonable job, but they could do some of it better, and they could do it better by having a massive simplification of the whole thing. So that's my opinion.
Stephen Patterson in the chat room, Nev, says that I think he said KLM ran an experiment years ago where you boarded from back to front, and that worked really well.
Yeah, I think he's right. And I think Lufthansa did the same as well, although Lufthansa did it where they were boarding window seats first from the back of the aircraft to the front. And again, really good, efficient usage of it. But it's the congestion in the gate that's just diabolical. And in airports where you've not got a lot of room at the gate, so I think Edinburgh, which is Stephen's local airport and one that I have flown out of a lot recently, there's not a lot of room there, and suddenly you've got 180 people to get on an A321 or something, and it's just chaotic. And then you've got the handling there is done by Menzies, I think, or Swissport. I can't remember which one it is, so I do beg their pardon if I've got it wrong. But again, they could do a better job, but they're only doing what they're told to do. So I think that they have massively over-egged the whole thing, and especially, I mean, I've mentioned before. I think I was, again, it was a Heathrow flight going to Belfast or Glasgow last year, and there's all this mucking about at the gate. Anyway, there's been some weather issues down route and all the rest of it, and the crew want to get going before they end up going out of hours. The captain comes steaming up into the gate area with, if you could see steam coming out of his ears, that was it, politely asking the gate staff what on earth they were doing, because he's ready to go. And they're still mucking about whether it's group 6 or 7 or who's first and who's last. Oh, it's just awful. I really don't know how they've managed to get it to this stage, but unfortunately, with their sort of the status that they offer customers, that in itself causes a problem. And I reckon if you just said Club Europe or Club World, depending on whether it's a long-haul flight or a short-haul European flight, Club Europe boarding now, and then economy boarding now, and that's it. That's what you got to do.
I think it would help BA a lot as well if, I know at Heathrow they don't really use it on the T5 stands. Use the rear steps as well.
Yep. Yeah.
If the most efficient, load them from back to front, has its dangers, especially on an aircraft like the 321 that's very sensitive on CFG, you can tip it over. But if you loaded from the middle and then towards the back and towards the front, loading front and back, you get the aircraft loaded much quicker. And all the status stuff, that should count on board and forgetting your perks and whatever. But forgetting on the aircraft, it just should be simple as that.
Couldn't agree more. And they're going to have to revise this again, because their idea of simplification here is just horrific. John Falk makes a very good point. He says, too many silver and gold in economy now, which mucks up the club and economy only queue. That's a very good point, actually.
Oh, yeah, not for much longer. Those everybody's expires and nobody can afford the new points.
Give it 18 months and it'll be a different story, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, all of this aggro is just causes delay for departure of the aircraft, missing slot potentially. And it's just not a great experience at the gate either. It's just not nice. So I will be interested to see how this works. I'm not flying as much these days, obviously, so I won't be able to report back as much. But I'm doing a couple of flights this year, so we'll see how that all goes. But yeah, they if they know how to make a pig's ear of it, They certainly have, yeah.
Can we class that as a Nev's terminal tantrum now? I think we can, really.
I suppose so. Yeah, I suppose it falls into that category, doesn't
It does, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, honestly. I'll get it right one day, Nev. One day. We'll send our advice. I'll put a report together from you.
Well, as I've said so many times, doing 0.8 Mach through the air is the easy bit. Getting on the blasted aircraft is the difficult bit.
Yes. And in November, I'm doing Club Europe, Club World, and First on BA as well. So I can see what the boarding's like for all of them.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll give a very frank opinion of that.
Yes, especially First. I'm expecting a very good service in First.
Oh. Good luck with that, mate. Yeah,
definitely need a report on that, Andy, as soon as you're back. Yeah.
No problem.
Right, next story comes from express.co.uk. Bad news, really, if you're heading off to Japan, because you might get a sinking feeling. Apparently, the massive £15 billion airport used by 30 million travellers every year, that's sinking. Yeah, a massive £15 billion pound airport which was hailed as an incredible feat of engineering, faces a significant challenge. It's sinking at an alarming rate. Accommodating 30 million travellers a year, Kansai International Airport in Japan celebrated its 30th birthday last year. Situated on 2 artificial islands in Osaka Bay, this remote site serves the city of Osaka, Japan's third largest city, and is connected by the mainland by a 1.9-mile bridge. Opening in 1994, the impressive airport took 20 years to plan and 7 years to build. It was the first airport ever built on reclaimed land from the ocean. And in its 30 years, the airport has already built up a long list of accomplishments. It has the longest terminal building in the world, spanning 1.7 kilometres, and amazingly, it has never lost an item of luggage. The airport can also absorb an earthquake without being damaged, and as even the runway is paved with asphalt of concrete, which allows it to bend instead of snapping. The terminal building, built by Renzo Piano, was a wavelength shape, result of extensive study to bring cool air in so expensive air conditioning does not need to be installed. And in 2001, the American Society of Civil Engineers awarded it the Monument of Millennium Award, along with the Hoover Dam and Golden Gate Bridge. However, it's facing an unprecedented challenge, and it's something that won't just disappear. It's sinking into the sea. So far, Kansai has sunk 38 feet, yet it remains a crucial hub for airlines like All Nippon Airways, Japan Airlines, and Nippon Cargo Airlines, which operates throughout Asia. Engineers always knew the seabed would sink a bit as the seabed compacted, but in 1990, 3 years after the construction began, they discovered it was sinking much faster than expected by about 5 centimetres each month. That's quite a lot. It was initially thought it would sink by 8 metres over the course of 50 years, but it sank more than that by the time the airport opened in 1994. 8 years later, it had sunk by another 12 metres. In a bid to combat the sinking airport, £76 million was spent bulking up the island's height to ensure it didn't sink below 4 metres above sea level, the height it has to be to avoid being flooded by rough seas. In a YouTube video, the B1Ms says the reason for its sinking is due to the type of clay used. The YouTuber explained Pleistocene is made up of a thicker clay and has lots of layers of sand running through it, making it very difficult to say how it would react when something this big is put on top of it. The rate of settlement has now almost ground to a halt from 50 centimetres a year in 1994 to just 7 centimetres today. I'm going to pop a picture up on the screen there for those of you watching in the world of YouTube at this airport, which looks rather strange being kind of stuck out in the sea, I suppose, with a long bridge to connect. Only one bridge, I might add, to connect to the airport, which is quite surprising. But yeah, I take it. Anyone ever flown there before from the team who are on today? No,
not there. Andy, I was just wondering whether they'd have to change the charts for the airport to have a different field elevation.
Yes, correct. Yeah, they will. Yeah. And they'll have to recalibrate the ILS quite often as well.
Yes.
There's all of that sinks and moves. But it's good that that's the great thing about civil engineers. I'm a civil engineer. That's what I trained in and I was before I became a pilot. And they've managed to slow this down from 50 centimetres a year, which is quite a lot, to just 7. Much like Venice, I suppose, a modern-day Venice. But this has a lot of weight on it as well. Phenomenal amount.
Yeah, I'm just reading a few of the comments in the chat room. Mark Priestley says, I wonder if London City is going to go, it's going to last, i.e. being built on swampland.
Yeah, actually, that's not sinking, I don't think, is it?
No, well, I hope not. Be a bit troubling, wouldn't it? But, I mean, like you said, Andy, they've slowed the rate of sinking down by quite a fair amount. I wonder whether it's going to get to a stage where it won't sink anymore. I don't know.
Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah. Right, moving on. Next story, Andy. This one's for you, to an airport that you might know a bit about.
Quite familiar with this particular site. And this is from architectsjournal.co.uk, and it's Luton Airport expansion gets government go-ahead. Luton Airport's proposals to expand its terminal building and runways have been approved by the Transport Secretary, Heidi Alexander. In a decision on the 3rd of April, the government gave its approval for Luton Airport to proceed with expansion proposals for the travel hub southeast of Luton. AECOM and Arup are the architects on the design team, and Luton Airport has confirmed this to the Architects Journal. Expansion means Luton Airport can increase capacity to 32 million passengers annually, nearly doubling the 16.9 million passengers which flew last year. The airport currently has a cap of 18 million flyers a year. Alexander said in a decision to issue a development order that she disagreed with the planning inspectorate's concerns over the environmental impact of expanding Luton Airport. Instead, the Transport Secretary said the economic and consumer benefits of expanding the travel hub outweighed those negatives of increased pollution. The decision comes days after the government announced a new National Infrastructure and Service Transformation Authority, NISTA, to fast-track major infrastructure developments. Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, has recently signalled her support for Heathrow Airport's ambitions to build a third runway, nearly a decade after proposals first emerged for the expansion of the UK's largest airport. Luton Airport first set out plans to expand in 2018, with a planning application submitted in 2023 following a public consultation. Final decision on whether or not to give a development consent order for the project had been delayed, so the current Transport Secretary could rule on development. Last year, London City was given the go-ahead by the Community Secretary and Deputy Prime Minister Angela Rayner to expand the East London terminal. Campaign group Architects Climate Action Network condemned the move at the time, saying the decision seems at odds with the government's stated commitment to addressing the climate crisis. Expanding air travel infrastructure, which is inherently carbon intensive, contradicts the urgent need to reduce emissions and transition towards more sustainable modes of transport. More effort must instead be directed towards improving and expanding our rail networks, particularly for domestic and short-haul journeys. Well, there we are. I have no idea how they will make this airport capable of taking 32 million passengers a year.
No, I mean, they were talking on the television today about another runway. Well, that's not part of the plan, is it? It's
No.
additional terminal expansion.
Correct.
Is what they're talking about.
To extend the runway would involve going to Hertfordshire,
Yes.
which I don't think they will ever get permission from Hertfordshire to do that. They've tried for years. They've managed to extend the taxiways because it was normally always a backtrack required, especially for anything further than sort of Malta. For bigger jets and private jets as well, they all had to backtrack, and most still do. The plan is to build this terminal on the northeast side, where currently there's some hangars and some car parking, but everything around there is rural lanes. As soon as you get to the airport, the road around the back of the airport is just single carriageway.
Yeah.
The whole place is going to require so much infrastructure and work while the airport is still operating as well. It's going to be carnage.
Yeah, and also it's a big corporate jet operator as well, isn't it? I mean, with Harrods Aviation there and others. So I think that the thing with Luton, it's been underdeveloped for so many years, but they have tried to do more things with it now, as you were saying the other day. With the improvement in engine technology, it's been possible to depart from that part where you just come up the hill slightly and turn right, and then off you go, and you've got plenty of runway to operate from. But of course, it is built on a hill as well, so expansion in that direction's a non-starter, isn't it?
Well, unless you go down the road of Madeira and start building parts of the runway on stilts, then the cost goes through the roof.
Yeah.
Also, it's, in my opinion, I operate out of Luton for 8 years. It's at capacity. I don't see what benefit in doubling capacity will bring. Parking spots at the moment are at a premium. Aircraft, there's not enough room to keep all the aircraft there from all the operators overnight. Of course, like you say, there's a huge amount of private jets lying around. I just don't see how they can make this work.
I must say, I don't know what you thought when you were operating out of there, Andy, but just the last time I went there, which was probably 4 or 5 years ago now, the apron is really congested, isn't it? It's a busy space.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they expanded the East Apron in the time I was there. Sort of the South Apron that they were using just for storing aircraft, that suddenly started to get used as normal stands as well. And I don't see where they're going to fit more in. I really don't. Well, best of luck to them to make it work. And I'm very glad during all this building work, I don't work there anymore.
Yeah, I have to say, as a passenger flying through Luton, I've done a number of times, and I have to say the only reason I've ever flown through Luton is because the flights have been really cheap to fly from there. I don't fly from Luton because it's a nice airport to fly through as a passenger. Even after all the work they've done on the terminal building, it's still a nightmare to get through. And we went through a couple of years ago, was the last time we went through there. And yeah, and they were resurfacing one of the bigger car parks that just sits off the roundabout near the hotels there. And it's an absolute nightmare to go through. But yeah, I've never really heard anyone say that it's a fantastic airport. It's just me.
Well, it was when I was on a Britannia 737 to go to Belfast back in the day.
When it was a nice little terminal with basically the same airport layout that's there now.
Exactly. Yes. Oh dear! But as we always say, it's not just the airport itself; it's the infrastructure, it's the transport hubs and everything else that need to be geared up for it as well. So, well, we'll have to see.
Right, Nev, you got the next one, and you love your tech. I know you love your tech stuff, but this is. Have you ever tried this before, Nev?
No, this is on roadtovr.com, and it says that Meta announced last year that it was partnering with German airline Lufthansa to bring Quest 3 headsets to passengers. Now, after its apparent success, the company hopes to expand in-flight XR entertainment programs to even more airline. Meta first released its long-awaited travel mode last year, letting anyone with a Quest 2 and above use the feature to offset the discrepancy in motion between the user and the airplane itself, which had long-foiled VR users by land, air and sea. Building on its work with travel mode, last June Meta released a pilot program, no pun intended, to bring passengers in the Lufthansa Allegris business class suites a Quest 3 across selected flights, allowing passengers to do things like watch movies and TV on virtual screens, spatial videos and select 360-degree videos, do guided meditation and play games like Connect 4 and chess. Meta says that the Lufthansa program has been such a success, having served up Quest 3 in-flight entertainment to nearly 4,000 travellers. It hopes to expand to even more airlines in the near future. This activation marks a pivotal moment in the development of our travel mode and immersive service, says Meta Director of Entertainment Content and Reality Labs, Sarah Malkin. We're now focused on expanding this offering to more airlines and optimizing our product suite. The company hasn't said specifically which airlines it's aiming to work with, although you can bet it will be a business or first class only feature, which typically also includes perks like lay flat seats, noise cancelling headphones, gourmet meals, premium alcohol And the list goes on. This isn't the first time we've seen airlines leverage XR headsets as special perks. In 2015, Australian Airlines Qantas was one of the first to test out complimentary access to Samsung Gear VR as in-flight entertainment for first-class passengers. Other airlines to adopt VR headset pilot programs included Air France, Iberia, British Airways and Singapore Airlines, all of which have since been discontinued.
Do you know how much these Quest 3 headsets are, Nev?
Well, no, I don't know is the answer.
Well, I didn't know either. I thought I'd have a quick look on the old Googles and see how much. They're about 400 quid, Nev, thereabouts.
Masha in the chat room says, I love my Quest, but sometimes get motion sick just using it in my room. Never mind in the air.
Actually, that's a refurbed one I've just found. Brand new ones, 470 quid, Nev.
Heck.
I think this would be quite cool if they had, on normal IFE, they have the camera feeds. Feed it through the VR headset so you can look all around, like outside. Like that'd be quite good on approach and take off. Yeah.
Or have a camera on the flight deck. Andy, so we can watch you guys.
No, but as per my previous comments, I'm not a big fan of the IFE, so I'm definitely not going to be a fan of this unless it's proper geekery.
I just have visions of sitting up there with one of those headsets on, with being look around the flight deck. Oh, look, what's he doing there? What's he doing?
Yeah, no, I don't want you to see what I'm doing in the front. Just outside.
You've never had to go, Nev, of wearing one of these these sort of VR headsets at all? Because you can get the ones where you can put your phone in, can't you, and stuff like that.
Yes, I mean, not in recent years, but I worked for a company back in 2007 that specialised in simulation and VR, and of course, that was going back quite a long way. The quality you could get from these things is fantastic, but if you do suffer from motion sickness at all, it's not for you, and you put yourself into an aviation environment, that could be a bit challenging at times, I would imagine. But of course, 2007 was a very long time ago, and things have moved on a lot since then. But are they not just coming up with solutions for people that don't really require them? Do you see what I mean? I'm not sure whether that's a thing. Have we got to the stage where we need to immerse ourselves in this environment?
I don't know. I'm quite just happy with the TV and watching the film myself. Unless it was a flight simulator on those goggles, in which case it would be, good fun when you're flying. When you're flying to be flying when you're flying, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So from one VR to another, this is from avitrader.com. Alaska Airlines invests in VR to transform 737 pilot training. Be interesting to see what Andy thinks of this. Alaska Airlines is spearheading a new chapter in aviation training with a strategic investment in Loft Dynamics, a pioneer in virtual reality flight simulation. Through Alaska Star Ventures, the airline's corporate venture arm, the partnership aims to develop the world's first hyper-realistic, full-motion Boeing 737 VR simulator using cutting-edge extended reality and extended reality technologies. The initiative seeks to complement and potentially transform traditional pilot training methods, which have long relied on full-motion simulators. While effective, these legacy simulators are expensive, as we all know, space-consuming and operationally limited. The proposed VR-based systems offer a far more scalable, accessible and immersive alternative, a shift that could be reshaping training standards not just for Alaska Airlines but across the aviation sector. Alaska's collaboration with Loft Dynamics will draw on both financial support and technical input from the airline's own flight operations training team. And once completed and approved by the regulators, these simulators are planned to be installed at various Alaska training bases. The VR simulator will offer an immersive training experience by integrating several advanced features. These include a 6 degrees of freedom motion platform that mimics the forces and sensations of actual flight, a 360-degree panoramic 3D view for accurate visual cues, and full body pose tracking, enabling real-time interaction with the cockpit environment. Trainees will also benefit from customizable scenarios to safely practice and complex maneuvers and emergency responses. And additional innovations include virtual demonstration mode, allowing instructors to record full lessons for future replay, and the Loft Spatial app for App Vision Pro, offering portable spatial computing-based training. Significantly smaller than conventional simulators, requiring only 1/12 of the space, the VR units provide unmatched flexibility, while formal FAA approval is expected in the coming years. Alaska and Loft are already exploring how the new system could supplement current FAA-mandated training, accelerating the integration of VR into mainstream pilot development. Now, for me, before we ask Andy, I love the idea of tactile feel, which is obviously what you do in the current simulators. Obviously you'd have, with the VR one, you'd have the sensors on your hands, so you'd be switching buttons and stuff virtually. But I'd much rather have a tactile feel when I'm, learning to fly. Andy?
I know of Loft Dynamics, and they currently have certified these VR. It's like extended reality helicopter simulators. I think they've got a couple of Airbus H125 that are currently certified. And you still have the switches because it's sort of like augmented mixed reality. So I think it works really well. It's quite a nice system, a lot smaller and a lot cheaper as well. And I think it'll be great for certain parts of type rating exercises. Or practicing certain procedures as well. So I think these are great things, and this is where the future really does lie, in training.
And also the problem, presumably, is the limiting factor is simulator availability as well. So this goes a long way to helping with some of that, I guess, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And the other great thing with this type of technology is the instructor doesn't need to be there. The instructor can be somewhere else and sort of tie into this. And also, when you're trying to instruct in a sim, it's really hard to see where trainees are looking. Whereas if they're wearing VR headsets and you can see the play out, you can use eye tracking and all sorts of stuff. You can actually see where they're looking, and it's a far more effective tool to help work out what the root cause of the problems are and how to fix it. So I think that's brilliant.
I'll have to go at this. I'll have to spend some more money, or win a ticket to go and fly a sim. More details on that later. Now, Andy, you've got the next story, and I'm guessing this is something you've not tried before, hopefully?
No, definitely not. And this is from aerotime.aero. Pilot forced to land small aircraft on busy highway in Brazil. A small single-engine aircraft made an emergency landing in the middle of a busy highway in Garuva, located in the north of Santa Catarina, Brazil, narrowly avoiding moving cars and trucks. The incident occurred on the 5th of April at 11:50 local time at kilometre 15 of Highway 40, which runs from Brasilia to Rio de Janeiro. The aircraft, a Flyer Pelican 500BR, was carrying 2 people, the pilot and the owner of the aircraft. According to the Aviation Safety Network, the aircraft took off for a panoramic flight when it suddenly experienced an engine failure mid-flight. Video footage and images captured by passengers on the road were shared on social media, showing the pilot skillfully navigating the aircraft onto the highway without hitting any vehicles. Neither of the passengers sustained any injuries, and the aircraft was later towed away. Local news outlet G1 reported that the aircraft came to a stop on the side of the road and was removed from the highway at 12:40. That's pretty quick, actually. 50 minutes. Mechanics were called to evaluate the aircraft's condition. The G1 report continued. The wings were removed and the aircraft was finally taken from the site around 17:35 local time. The Brazilian Air Force has announced that investigators from the Centre for Investigation and Prevention of Aeronautical Accidents were called to investigate the circumstances of the incident. Now, I didn't see that. Can you show that footage again?
Yeah,
Carlos?
I'll pop it on again. There we go. We shall. There we go. Play that again.
Yeah, nice glide approach down there. Avoided the power lines as well, which thankfully had the markers on it, because it was close to the airport.
What worried me was what was behind it. In the guys were huge, what looked like a tanker.
Tanker, yeah, well, the tanker got out of the way. I mean, you don't have much choice, really, at that point. You're putting it down on the road. The tanker driver did a very good job of staying out of the way as well.
Yeah, poor centerline alignment there. I thought it could have done better.
Apparently the video's very loud, good Carlos.
Yes,
is it?
Oh, yeah.
Meu Deus! Nossa, gravei tudo, mano! Meu, consegui gravar tudo. Manda pra mim.
There we go, did a great job. Look at that, it's all in one piece. I see a fantastic work.
I could have shut the road and flown it out again, perhaps.
Yeah. It's a shame they had to chop the wings off. Unless they were removable. Does it say they were cut off? That's just the wings are removed, so maybe the wings are removable on this thing.
Yeah.
It looks quite micro-lighty, so maybe they are.
Yeah.
Oh, but top job.
Top job, yeah. Well done. It's not the first time we've seen this. We've covered a story like this on the show, I don't think. About pilots landing on roads, but yeah, you've done a damn good job on that, so well done. Nev, you have got the next story, and this reminds me, Nev, of when we were out in Dubai.
Yes, we don't often talk about sort of the ground operations of aircraft and loading and that kind of stuff. This is on zagdaily.com, and it says that a self-driving cargo vehicle is set to be trialled at East Midlands Airport in the UK. Developed by UPS and British manufacturer Origo, the auto cargo autonomous vehicle can carry up to 16,500 kilos in capacity. This trial forms part of the £800,000 autonomous airport project supported by Zenzik and funded by the UK government's Centre for Connected and Autonomous Vehicles. This vehicle serves multiple purposes, from reducing stress on the workforce, enhancing safety in operations, to optimising on-the-ground performance, which enables companies like UPS to distribute goods faster and more efficiently. Zenzik head of product Alex Wood told Zag Daily. It'll be on trial doing exactly what its intended purpose is, everything from how best to position itself to interact with loading and unloading aircraft to its maintenance and route planning. Additionally, Origo spent a lot of time developing its Origo AutoSim product, which has been used to digitize how using their autonomous vehicles can work to ensure that the airside operations run efficiently. Now, this physical trial with the vehicle will look to validate some of that work. The auto cargo is designed to move heavy cargo loads to and from aircraft at UPS's hub at East Midlands Airport, and in doing so, it aims to free up drivers who can instead perform other operational tasks around the airport. East Midlands Airport is the UK's second largest cargo terminal after Heathrow, handling more than 394,000 tonnes of cargo each year. The vehicle can transport a standard full-size cargo pallet or two half-size aviation industry standard containers, or ULDs, which are unit load devices, with a total of 7.5 tonne load. It can also tow a further fully loaded cargo trailer behind it. Origo founder and CEO David Keane said this latest launch is another milestone moment for our business and extends our footprint in the aviation sector. Working with UPS, we have designed and developed an autonomous vehicle that can transport a standard cargo pallet or two ULDs with a 4,500 kilo onboard capacity and the option of towing an additional 12,000 kilo trailer. The project at East Midlands Airport takes forward Origo's commercial deployment of autonomous baggage transporters at Changi Airport in Singapore, Rotterdam and Schiphol Airport in the Netherlands, and also Heathrow Airport in the UK. That's quite a machine, isn't it?
It looks awesome.
And big payload as well. Goodness me.
Yeah, it's got up
Wow.
on the screen again.
Massive.
Yeah, interesting. I wonder what the unions might have to say about that.
It's always a worry when you get technology taking over the job of the human. Where are these jobs going to go?
Well,
It does say it frees up drivers for other tasks around the airfield.
yeah.
Still a worry though.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
When it comes to jobs.
On this next story, Carlos, there's a video with this, but if you play the video
Yes, make sure
after you have mentioned anything, because it's got audio on it as well.
Yeah, this is coming to us from independent.co.uk, and passengers on a Virgin Atlantic flight stranded in Turkey for 40 hours finally reach India. More than 250 passengers on a Virgin Atlantic flight from London to Mumbai reached India on Friday after being stranded in a remote military airport in Turkey for nearly 40 hours. Ouch. Sparking distress calls on social media. The passengers have called out the airline for keeping them in inhumane and awful situations for 2 days at an airport with limited facilities and without adequate food and essential supplies. Virgin Atlantic's VS 358 departed London Heathrow Airport at 11:40 a.m. British Standard Time on the 2nd of April and was scheduled to land in Mumbai at 8:10 British Standard Time in the evening. However, the plane made an unscheduled landing at Diyarbakir Airport in Turkey. Probably pronounced that incorrectly, but there you go. Around 5 p.m. due to a medical emergency on board. The VS358 flight from London to Heathrow to Mumbai on the 2nd of April was cancelled due to an urgent medical diversion at the airport in Turkey and subsequent technical inspections required, Virgin Atlantic said. The safety and security of our customers and crew is always our top priority, and we apologise, they said, for any inconvenience caused. After emergency landing, the A350-1000 aircraft encountered a technical issue as it had made a hard landing and it was deemed unfit to fly. The passengers stranded at the airport said that they were not given any information about completing their journey to India, and the airline said that the flight would resume its onward journey to Mumbai from the airport at around 10 a.m. on the Friday. With the necessary technical approvals now in place, they said we will continue flight VS1358 from I can't pronounce that one. I bet Andy can. Approximately midday local time on the Friday, the 4th of April, arriving at Mumbai at 8:30 in the evening, it said. Officials later confirmed the flight landed at Mumbai late on Friday evening, and many passengers expressed frustration and distress over the situation on social media and said they were being confined to a restricted area of the airport with limited facilities. Virgin Atlantic said the majority of the customers were provided with an overnight hotel accommodation ahead of their onward journey. According to news outlet News 18, Virgin Atlantic arranged hotel accommodations for passengers and stated it was working towards a solution to allow customers to continue their journey to Mumbai on the 4th. They followed up with, "We'd sincerely like to apologise for the delay and inconvenience caused." Seems like a long delay, Nev.
Well, it's not ideal, but I don't think the crew, take a medical emergency lightly and to do a diversion like this. That's not what they'd planned to do. Obviously, they've got diversion airports that they go into when they're doing the flight planning and all the rest of it and alternates. If something happens, then unfortunately, this airport does have limited facilities, according to the article. So, it's not ideal, and there were a lot of people that were inconvenienced. But when you start with a medical emergency, okay, there was a subsequent problem with the aircraft after that. But really, that's the job of the crew, isn't it? And they have ticked that box basically.
It looks like the subsequent problem though was a self-induced problem, a hard landing. So what the Airbus is a very clever aeroplane, and if you put it down a little too firmly, it will tell you. It will give you a report and say, this has happened, now you need engineers to check it. So that'll have been the reason, because they're in this remote military airfield in Turkey. Well, I don't think Virgin will have any engineers contracted there. They'll have had to fly somebody in to fix it, is the main problem. And it probably would have just required an inspection, that's all. But of course, these things take time to sort out. But we got Virgin saying we gave you hotels, and passengers saying we didn't give us hotels. So who knows who's telling the truth there. But yeah, if you divert and then do a hard landing, that's a real, oh no, this day is not going the way I wanted it to do. But these things happen.
And we've got a video, haven't we, Nev?
Yes, it's about passengers complaining mainly. So
Should we roll that one?
Yeah, go on.
We get to Gatwick and we wait a little time in the plane because he didn't know, the captain, if we could go to Heathrow or if we have to stay in Gatwick. And we arrived at 5 o'clock at the airport and we wait for 3 hours to get our luggage. We made several, corridors because it was not the same one, but the 62. No information.
They tell us to update the app all the time to see if they're going to reschedule our flights. We're going to probably receive an email later on, but I don't know.
I'll be late for like half an hour. Yeah, because 105 and SL9 will be going there. But the thing is, first I have to go to the Terminal 5. Then I don't know how take it long for the Terminal 2. That's affecting my the whole day is ruined now.
I left Australia 36 hours ago and I'm traveling on to Iceland. It's been a pretty crazy day. I think everyone's just figuring it out as they go, really. I think when you've flown for 20 hours, you just want to get home at some point, and it's now just like another 15, 20 hours. So I'm just along for the ride. Yeah, a bit crazy.
We're waiting about 6 hours for our bags. It was crazy amount of time, like, and trying to get it sorted was just absolute mess. Like, I know it's a tough time for everyone, but like, it's crazy. There's no like protocol or something. Like, it's, you're waiting for so long, and like, we're all got like, exams to go back to in college after that, so we're all kind of stressing a bit at the moment.
I feel bad for everyone on the ground working this because it's not fun for anyone. We're waiting for a bus now. I don't know when it will come.
Right, well, I'm glad that we were able to show the independent logo at the end of that.
Yeah,
because it's their fault that we showed the wrong video, basically.
Oh, I didn't realise that.
Because that video was all about the Heathrow shutdown. So that's a very good example of how some websites have the wrong video on their thing. It was my fault for not checking it in my haste to clip it. So.
I did think it was an interesting route, Johannesburg to Nice via Heathrow and Mumbai.
Well, these long-range aircraft are pretty good these days, Andy.
Oh, dear.
My bad. I'm going to take one for the team there.
Although we've got some fun here.
It was their fault, I think. But,
yeah.
So there we go.
Right now, Nev. In all seriousness, now back to serious aviation stuff. We did learn of some sad news this week, didn't we?
Yeah, this is really unfortunate. You may know that we used a simulator facility at Cambridge Airport, run by VA Airline Training, that we used for our 500th show. We've used it a few times. I've been there with Andy a few times. Unfortunately, on their website, it says that after 28 years in business, it's goodbye from us. We're sorry to tell you that VA Airline Training has been put into voluntary liquidation by its shareholders. Following the bruising economic shocks of COVID and Brexit, our business gradually recovered to surpass previous volumes, but ultimately the mounting financial challenges of rising costs against challenging market conditions in the UK proved too great for us to remain viable as a specialist independent training organisation. We wanted to ensure that our customers were not financially affected, so we proactively ceased regulated training at the end of January. Over the years, we've navigated numerous challenges, and there have been some great highlights and achievements that we can be proud of, such as launching the first ever APS MCC course 7 years ago. There have been a lot of laughs along the way and some great memories for our dedicated staff and instructors, past and present. We're honoured to have served thousands of customers over the years and helped to launch many pilots' careers. We'll sign off by highlighting the personal stories of some of our customers from the last few years. From the VA team, thank you. And if you go to their website, there's some very good testimonials on there. Well, this is a facility that had two very good simulators, a fixed base 737-800 and an A320. And they were really good, weren't they, Andy? We really enjoyed our time there.
Yeah, they were fantastic bits of kit. The 320 in particular, I found it was brilliant. Me and Nev did a lot of work there. That was during the pandemic, wasn't it? It was 2020, 21?
Yeah, it was, yeah.
For a project, so did a lot of video work there. That's where I believe you think I chastised you for the way you were flying as well, yes? In the 320 sim, that was the one, wasn't it?
Yeah, that might have been, yes, yeah.
Yes, fantastic facility, fantastic people, overlooking Cambridge Airport. It was great. It's really sad that, small training organisations can really struggle. It's not cheap to provide proper regulated training and with oversight from the authorities. I think they did a brilliant job, and it's just sad that it's come to this, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's a real shame. And the running costs of these things aren't just the staff salaries and the electricity to keep it going. It's the constant maintenance work that has to be done on the simulators, and presumably the approvals from the CAA as well.
Yep, approvals, auditing, constant checking the devices are still working as certified and as expected. Those costs mount up massively. So yeah, it's not a cheap game, unfortunately.
Yeah, what a pity. Well, I really enjoyed our time there, and also all the folks that were there as well, the guys and girls that ran the facility. They were so friendly and so helpful as well. It made our life a lot easier by having those sorts of people around. So, well, let's hope all those guys and girls find somewhere to work in future, because it was a great facility. Very sorry to see it go.
Yeah, we had
absolutely.
a really good day. We had such a good day there. And as Nev was saying and Andy is saying there, that the whole place has just run so well. Everything was, the way the actual sim itself was operated and the stuff. We couldn't have had a better day really for our 500th show, could we? At all? Yeah,
absolutely. So fantastic.
And don't forget, on that note, if you want to see how we got on in the Sims, you can check out the YouTube page. If you go back to our 500th special show, the videos in there that Nev put together of us having our training sessions in the A320 and the 737 sim, which was a very interesting day, I must say, Nev.
Yep, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
really enjoyed it, I must say.
Right, now Nev, next part of the show, handing things over to you. I know Dirk's getting excited about this part of the show already.
I think it's his favourite part of the show as well, actually. It's the Retro Airline Ad of the Week, and this week we head back to the 1970s and to an airline that not only had fine dining in a luxury setting, but to an airline that also operated the Boeing 747 SP.
For an unusual travel experience, just board an Ryanair Special Performance 747 jetliner. And you will go from an airport in New York to a Persian tea house, right out of the 1001 Nights. I'm Gunther Less, and I can assure you that this first-class lounge is a very pleasant way to pass the in-flight hours. The food is excellent, and your needs are attended to in true royal fashion. So you arrive refreshed and relaxed. Whether you travel first class or economy, with Ryanair every trip is a journey to adventure.
Ryanair, non-stop from New York to Tehran, London, or Paris.
Oh, the SP, wow. Not many were made, and I think a couple of Middle Eastern customers actually had it as their private jet, I seem to recall.
Oh, dear.
But, yeah, I never went on it on SP. Never went on one.
No, I Googled. Apparently, they were the last operator to have the last working, actually fully functional, revenue service SPs flying. They had 4 of those in total.
Yeah, they kept them running. Of course, they've got all the sanctions on Iran these days, so they were just desperately trying to keep their old aircraft still running. Unfortunately, they kept those running, which I think is brilliant.
So good. It's funny when you look at those SPs. You look at a picture of a normal, your normal 747-400, and you pop a picture up of a 747 SP. There's such a difference between the two birds. It's so uncanny. It really is.
It's huge, and it wasn't just, if you want the geeky stuff, it wasn't just a shortened fuselage. The tail had to be much bigger because of the shortened body. The wings also didn't have Fowler flaps. They had single flap, single piece as well. And there's a sim I used to instruct in that you could set up as either a 747-200 or an SP. And I used to prefer setting up as the SP because the performance on it was an awesome thing. It was brilliant.
As a comment in the chat room, this amused me, Nev. Richard Adams says they didn't show the thick clouds of cigarette smoke that would have been there at the time.
Oh yeah,
the good old days.
Yeah.
Richard E. Flagg says in the chat room, last SP flying was Sophia, the NASA one. I think it retired a year or so back. The last SP that he saw, that Richard saw, was at Stansted about 15 years ago. So there we go.
Yeah, when I was working out of Bournemouth for a while, there used to be one that lived there, owned by a sultan of somewhere, and their daughter was at university in Bournemouth, and they hangared their 747 SP for her at Bournemouth Airport.
Oh, wow.
And every once in a while, they used to just take it out and fly it around the circuit.
No way.
Everybody else would have had a Learjet 45, wouldn't they? But
they've got an SP. That's right, Captain Cruise, yeah. Victor Papa Bravo Alpha Tango. That was the one.
VP Bat. Yeah. Darren Smith says Pratt & Whitney Canada still have an example. Last one, I think, he says there in the chat room. So, yeah.
But you were still correct in saying that was the last commercial revenue operator, Iran.
Iran Air. What it says on the Googles. They lied.
Yeah.
They lied.
No, they were correct. Last commercially operated one. All of these
yeah.
are the ones that you mentioned are not commercial.
No, the Sophia one had the huge door on the side of the fuselage that had the telescope pointing out from, I think, on that. Yeah. Awesome. Right, Nev, back to you, because something we missed last week because we had a little technical issue with this video, but it's back in full force this week, Nev, so over to you.
Yeah, well, thanks, Carlos. And it's a bit of a reprise from last week. Hopefully we'll have a better job of the video. With this video, Carlos, just make sure you don't have the volume too loud.
No.
That's the first thing to note. So,
here we go.
As you may know, I recently retired from the company I was working for after 5.5 excellent years, and they bought me a simulator, silver simulator experience on the Concorde that's based at Brooklands, which was absolutely brilliant. So I had the chance to go there a couple of weeks ago. Couldn't take all my filming gear, but just some iPhone footage was what we managed to do. And it's a really good day out. If you've not been to Brooklands and you get the chance to go, it is absolutely fantastic. If you're interested in anything retro, cars, aviation, anything like that, it's really good. Now, of course, this isn't the original Concorde simulator. Well, the cockpit is, but the graphics engine and everything to go with it is very different. The original Concorde simulator had what I would term a sort of a vertical train set on one of the walls in the hangars, with a small CCD camera that sort of tracked over it. And, it wasn't that realistic, but it was the best that they had at the time. I remember speaking to John Hutchison a couple of years ago when we interviewed him, and he said that the newer stuff is far better than anything that they ever trained on. And in fact, that the aircraft itself was a bit easier to fly than the original simulator. So they've brought this, the main guts of the simulator down from Filton. It's been at Brooklands for some time now. And then it's been completely re-engineered with the latest Microsoft Flight Simulator software and all the other bits and pieces as well. So let's take a quick look at my journey through Brooklands the other day. So, of course, this is one of the pre-production models of Concorde. So this was sat outside in the sunshine. We had a very nice day there, actually, as well. Perfect weather. And so Bravo, Golf Delta. There's a Ryanair turbine, which was never used, apparently. Obviously tested and certified, but never used. Very meaty set of landing gear with some carbon brakes on it, carbon brakes on it. And the actual aircraft itself is not that big, of course, because when you think about it, it's 100 passengers and 3 flight deck crew. But there's some big old carbon brakes on that and some big brake fans as well. And then you go inside the aircraft itself, and there's a bit of a sort of an audio-visual type tour through the place as well. Really effective. And what I liked most about it is the fact that the staff that run it are extremely knowledgeable about the aircraft as well. All the facts were correct. I mean, I'm fortunate in that I've researched the aircraft over a number of years, and everything was absolutely spot on. And it was a really great experience, the way that it was presented. We had a glass of champagne on board as well, which was very nice. So you get to go on the actual aircraft itself. It's myself and Mrs. Nev. She's in the first officer's seat, and it's a little bit cosy up there, I must say, because being at the pointy end of the aircraft, literally, there's not a lot of elbow room, and you've got a flight engineer in there as well, of course. But no, it's a really well presented display, and they are always fully booked. There's a lot of people down there. So this is me taking off from Sydney Airport in the left-hand seat, and the fellow that's in the right-hand seat is a fella called Andy Dark that our Andy flew with back in 2012, it turns out. So it's as usual with all these things in aviation, it's a very small world. Now, what I liked about the simulator itself is that it was actually very easy to fly. I not deliberately so, but it was, I think it's a really good way of just getting you into trying to fly this aircraft, which is completely different to anything else. There's no flaps or slats on this aircraft at all, and the speeds are very different. But I had the opportunity of going around the circuit here, taking off from Kingston Smith Airport in Sydney, going under the Sydney Harbour Bridge at about 100 feet, and then doing a left turn to set up for another bridge, which I went under 100 feet as well. And there was even some applause when I did that, and probably some surprise that I managed to do it without crashing. But it is, having said it was relatively easy to fly, it is quite sensitive. And you've got to be careful you don't start doing pilot-induced oscillation business with the yoke as well, because it's very easy to get that wrong. Now, of course, all I was doing was manually flying the aircraft. I had Andy next to me with the occasional nudge on the yoke there just to help me, but he was doing engine power, radio communications, and nav. So all I had to do is point it and turn it left and right and land it, basically. But it's a really fun thing to do, and I think if you were looking to buy a present for someone that was interested in aviation, you can't do much better than this. It was a really good experience. Andy, and there's a team of I forget how many ex-Concorde pilots there are, but Andy was one of them. He was on the aircraft as a first officer for 8 years, I think, something like that. But again, they're all very knowledgeable and just very friendly as well. So obviously a lot of people like myself have got no or hardly any real flying experience, but the briefing was really good. They give you the chance just to work out what you're going to do, and I was in the left-hand seat for probably 25 minutes, half an hour, something like that. And you go into it in groups of 4 usually, and then you have all change seats and take it in turns to do it. And whilst I was flying, the next person was in the flight engineer's position, so they could actually see what was going on, so they got an idea of what to expect. And it's great. The graphics are really, really good. The scenery, very difficult to see from these angles, but the realism of the scenery, I would say, Andy, is as good as the ones that we had at VA airline training as well in the 320. Really, really good.
Absolutely. Looks great.
So, but just as well, you're running in this for sort of 3.5 to 4 hours in the real world, because it is quite a confined space. But I managed to get under a bridge there. Not really certified to do so, but it's a bit of fun. And the other approaches you can do, there's the old Kai-Tak approach, which I did the last time I flew this sim. So the last time I did this was about 8 years ago, something like that. And again, it's all been updated since then. And I know one of the fellas that maintains this sim as well, and he was saying that it's flying really well at the moment, and it was. It was a really, really good experience, and they've, it's nice that they've been able to resurrect that whole experience for people to use, and it's not a cheap thing to do, but then you wouldn't want it to be a cheap thing to do. It's got to be a special thing, I would say. And of course it's not just that. Of course you've got the whole of the rest of the museum to explore, and if this takes 25 minutes or so, and then the rest of the time you can look around the museum. So I managed to get it on the deck with the simulator hopefully usable again, which is all you have to do.
What's it like, Nev, with that style of yoke? Because obviously it's a slightly different kind of yoke that you're used to using on either the Airbus or the Boeing.
Yeah, you've just got to be careful you don't overdo it. I mean, you can quite easily get into more than 30 degrees of bank if you're not careful. But actually, I've found that sort of ram's horn yoke quite a nice way of working. Of course, that's what you see on some of the Embraers now as well, isn't it? It's. I think obviously because it relies heavily on being pitched up at an angle in order to maintain the lift, and the speeds are a lot higher and all the rest of it. So it's a slightly unusual view of the runway as well. But I would imagine that would get you'd get used to it. But yeah, it was a great experience. So if you ever have the chance to do it, I thoroughly recommend it.
There you go. That's good. I'm glad we got a chance to play that out properly, Nev, this week. It's good to see that on the screen. Andy, I'm guessing that writing a sim training program for this would have been quite the task.
Oh, that would have been great fun, wouldn't it? I'd love to have flown it. And I must say that landing looked beautiful, Nev.
Oh,
Andy thought it was one of the best he'd seen.
There you go. See, just for the record, that was praise.
Oh dear! But I did I did have 4 engines operating on that occasion. The last landing I did with you behind me was on a single engine. So.
Well, you've got to be able to fly it in its worst case, mate.
Well, that's a very good point. Yeah, but no, it all worked really well, and thanks to Andy Dark and the team down at Brooklands for looking after it. It was absolutely superb.
Right, time to move on to the next thrilling part of the show, Nev's favourite bit of the show. What's coming up next, Nev?
Well, I mean, it's a commercial aircraft that got to just over Mach 2, and I suppose that would be in the military category, wouldn't it, really? So it is the military section next.
What's up, bogeys 135, 50, Angel 16, heading 340. Okay. Undersea bogeys.
And the first story this week from the military segment of the show. It has caused quite a bit of outrage in the aviation scene over the last week, it's for sure. It comes from the sun.co.uk. Well, not literally the sun, but one of our awesome papers that we have here in the UK. Iconic RAF Red Arrows jets in danger of being replaced by Russian planes loved by Putin. So Britain's Red Arrows display team may trade in its iconic fleet for Russian-designed jets, sparking fury. The M30 or M346s are being considered by the RAF chiefs who need to retire the ageing Hawks. Replacing the aerobatic team's iconic 50-year-old planes with Russian-designed jets would be outrageous, Tories said this week. The RAF could have to turn to Vladimir Putin as the Yorkshire factory that made the BAE Hawks closed back in 2020, and the leading UK alternative is years away. That may mean switching to Russian-designed jets, despite the Red Arrow's publicly stated role of showcasing British industry and reinforcing the reputation of the UK. This week, Tory Shadow Defence Secretary James Cartledge said, when the Red Arrows perform their brilliant air displays in their red and white and blue Vapor trials, they're representing the Union Jack, not the Russian tricolour. Taxpayers would think it extraordinary. Tory MP Sir Alex Shelbrooke, a former defence minister, said the move would be outrageous. He added, for a country which has stood strong against Ukraine, it sends entirely the wrong message. It's an insult to the thousands who have died, he said. Former Air Marshal Edward Stringer said the Red Arrows were supposed to showcase British kit, training and expertise. And former Chief Air Marshal Sir Mike Graydon warned this would be an extraordinary decision. There would be a strong reaction from the public. Well, that's definitely happened. Since being set up in 1954, the Red Arrows have flown British-made aircraft, the first, the Fallen Gnat, and then the BAE Hawk. Predecessor, the Black Arrows, flew British Hawk Hunters. But the team's Hawk T1s are due to be retired by 2030, while the newer Hawk T2s, desperately needed for pilot training, have been beset by engine problems. They're due to go in 2040, but in November, new Chief Air Marshal Sir Rich Knighton said, I would like to replace the Hawk T2 as soon as we can. Bristol-based Arilas said the best placed UK firm to step in, but are yet to make a prototype. Other options include a revamp BAE Hawk, a US Boeing trainer, or the Korean KT-50 or KII-T50 Golden Eagle. But the government confirmed it is considering the £19 million Eremachi M346 jet jointly developed by Russia and Italy. Russian tyrant Putin has been pictured in in a Russian version known as the Yak-130, and Moscow has sold the fighter version to terrorist ally Iran. Ex-RAF fast jet instructor Tim Davies said buying a Russian-linked jet would be treasonous. He told The Sun to replace the aircraft with anything that isn't British would be a significant mistake. He said it would tell the world that the UK has lost it and we can no longer design and build great training aircraft. To buy anything else, especially the Italian M346, which is based on the Russian Yak-130, would be bordering on treasonous. Defence Minister Maria Eagle said the Eremachi M346 fast jet trainer is one of several market options available. Now, the Ministry of Defence added, we have not yet engaged the market on future Red Arrows jet, and the M346 was originally known as the Yak-130 after the Italian firm Eremachi joined forces with Moscow Yakolov back in 1996. So, there we go. It's not gone down too well, this particular statement, or knowledge, I say, but...
There's a few things I'd like to say about this.
Go on,
say a lot
Andy.
about the military stuff. This article is absolute garbage.
Thanks, Andy.
That aircraft has been developed alone by the Italian Eremachi company since 2000. The joint work together was dissolved back in 2000 with Yakolev, so they've gone their separate ways. So it's not a Russian jet. But also the other thing that I'd like your two opinion on, what do we replace it with that's British and available within the next 15 years?
Yeah, that is a
very good point. Yep, absolutely. I don't have an answer.
No, nor do I.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I saw this was touted about various press outlets. It's just members of the opposition using the option to bash the government at the moment, I think. But I'm not going political.
No, I'll pop a picture up on the screen there of said jet. I don't know if you can see that, guys, on the screen there of that particular aircraft.
I can, yes. I do like Bill's suggestion. Use Islanders.
Yes.
The Britain Norman Islanders. It'd be a bit of a slow display, won't it?
The Britain Norman Islander. It's one of those at Duxford, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's still in production, I think.
Take a few out of the Channel Islands as well. Yeah. If they were still operating. So,
yeah, you're right,
John
though, Andy.
Falk can confirm if there's still some Islanders operating in and out of the Channel Islands.
Oh, yeah, the Trilander. Or what I like to refer as the prop version of a DC-10.
Yeah.
If you look at
the Islanders have gone from the Channel Islands, sadly.
The Trilanders have gone, yeah. I believe they still make the Islanders, though. Because they have uses.
Yeah, but what else could be used? What else could be used, though? What else is there? British made.
There's nothing fast jet-wise.
Well, if you want a slow jet, maybe some 146s, perhaps.
Yeah.
Equipped with 4 APUs as engines.
They could take passengers then. It would be the first ever Royal Air Force aerobatic display team that carries passengers on board.
Oh, blimey.
Yeah.
But yes, the Islander is still in production. Good, let's get them.
We'll get them. We'll put that one forward to the Royal Air Force. Right. Bit more. Moving on again to the next story, and we're going back to AI again, Andy, with this one.
Yes. This is from defense-blog.com, and the US Air Force equips F-16s with AI flight systems. The US Air Force is advancing its next-generation air combat capabilities with the arrival of the final F-16 fighter jet designated for the Venom Aft program, short for Viper Experimentation and Next-Gen Operations Model Autonomy Flying Testbed at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. According to the Air Force, the Venom program supports the development of collaborative combat aircraft, CCA, unmanned systems intended to operate alongside manned flights in coordinated missions. The initiative also aligns with ongoing research into MUM-T, manned-unmanned teaming operations. So far, 3 of the 6 Venom-designated F-16s are undergoing extensive modifications, including software and hardware changes, instrumentation integration, and the installation of auto-throttle systems. These updates are designed to enable autonomous flight control and allow the systems to manage both control surfaces and thrust output. Modifying the aircraft is the result of a rigorous design and testing. I just moved it because I realised I was off to the side. Sorry, where was I?
Rigorous.
About. There we go. Modifying the aircraft is the result of rigorous design phase and brings us one step closer to testing autonomy of a fighter jet with real mission systems and capabilities. Since the program's launch in April 2024, the Air Force has been testing the Venom system in high-fidelity simulation environments. These virtual engagements include one-on-one and two-on-two combat scenarios in both within visual range and beyond visual range context. The goal is to train and refine the AI through repeated iterations of tactical decision making. The simulations provide an efficient way to train the autonomy to learn complex aircraft tactics. A specific scenario can be run 1,000 times and the variations and decisions made throughout the mission can be studied. We can then make recommendations to the developers on how to improve the autonomy's behaviour and overall performance. Hardware and software in-the-loop testing is also underway to ensure safe and reliable integration of autonomous control within the F-16's operational envelope. Flight envelope protections have been incorporated into simulators to prevent the system from issuing commands that could endanger the aircraft or pilot. Once the current phase of system verification is complete, the program will move to ground testing with fully modified aircraft, followed by supervised flight tests where pilots will retain real-time authority to engage or disengage autonomous control. The Air Force says it expects a fully modified F-16 to be ready for flight tests within 18 months of the program's initial aircraft deliveries. And the broader aim of Venom is to accelerate the development and deployment of autonomy and payload technologies critical to future air combat operations. Wow. As long as this stuff doesn't come to commercial aircraft, then I'm fine. I'll still have a job.
I was going to say, your job is safe. But I think the F-16. Do
Yes.
you know what, when we talk about the F-16 a lot on this show in the military segment, and let me just move that. There we go. Looking on a quick Google search here because I just refreshed my memory. Do you know first 1974? This aircraft, the F-16, first flew 1974, which is 20th of January, actually, 1974, 51 years ago. And it feels like that the F-16 is going to be like the B-52, where it just continues to fly forever and more. And even when you see the F-16 now, it still looks a phenomenal aircraft when you see this aircraft. It looks just so cool. I mean, you know, we're not massive fans of all the grey stuff on the show, but you've got to admit the F-16 does look stunning. Even Nev would say that.
Yeah.
Totally. But there you go. Right now, Nev, news for anyone who's going to join us this year, hopefully, at some of the air shows that we're going to be attending in the UK and in Ireland.
Yes, so we thought we'd give you a quick run through of the air shows that we're attending for the remainder of this year in 2025. We will be at the Duxford Summer Air Show on June the 21st at the Imperial War Museum in Duxford. Adult tickets are £49.50. And children under 15 can go free. You must children under 15 must be accompanied by an adult. If you're driving to Duxford, you've got to book a parking permit for your visit as well. You can't park on site without that. It only costs £5 to do that, but make sure you do that. And just realised, Carlos, we probably need to get some tickets.
We do, yeah. We need to sort that out, don't we? I'll sort that out this week.
Yeah, so that's the 21st of June. July the 26th, we'll be at the Shuttleworth Summer Air Show from around about 9 o'clock when the gates open. There's some ground attractions there up until 2 o'clock in the afternoon when the first flying display commences, and that finishes about 5:30. There's also an evening display as well, which starts at 7:30 for about an hour, and then the gates finally close at 9 o'clock. Pricing for that is £42 for adult. If you're a member at the Shuttleworth, it's £36. Children go free. So that's July the 26th. Very soon after that, we are off to the Bray Air Display in Ireland. And we're just waiting for some indications about what we can do there. We're hoping to do lots of interviews there. That is a free public event in Ireland. It's just south of Dublin and very worthwhile too. It'll be the first time we've been there, so it'll be fantastic. And then finally, on the 30th of August, we're looking to organise a PTUK summer meetup at Beccles Airfield, Echo Golf Sierra Mike. And that's on the 30th of August. We'll have some more details about that in the next couple of weeks when we've got it organised. But that's the 4 things we're planning to do this year.
Yeah, looking forward to that. And also visiting some air shows that we've not attended before, which will be nice, Nev. But will also be good to meet up with some of you who can make the summer one, the Duxford Summer Air Show in June. Be great to see some of you there as well. And I'll get our tickets for that this week, Nev. Don't panic. We'll get that sorted.
So Dirk S. was just asking in the chat room what was the event in Ireland. That's the Bray Air Display. Just have a look on their Facebook page, Dirk, for that, and you'll see some details there. There's not much detail there at the moment because all the programme hasn't been finalised yet, but we know the organisers quite well, and our chum Alan White is going to be there and give us a hand as well, hopefully. Yeah. So we'll come back to you with more details when we have it.
And Bray, that is Bravo Romeo Alpha Yankee, BRAY, Bray Air Show, that is. If you want to Google that. But looking forward to that. There was apparently the biggest public free event in Ireland.
Yeah. That should be good. And if the weather holds out, we never quite know what we're going to get in Ireland, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, definitely. Right, social media links, Mr. Bounds. Where can people find out more about us on the interwebs?
Yes, if you just do a search on the socials on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or LinkedIn, Sorry, that should be X really, shouldn't it? Just search those platforms for Plain Talking UK. You can email the show, podcast@plaintalkinguk.com, and the website is www.plaintalkinguk.com. We have a new WhatsApp number, as you may know. That is +44 7446 975 214. +44 7446 975 214. You can send us your aviation pictures on that, or send comments and suggestions as well. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel, which a lot of people have, and you'll get notifications when we go live, and you can help shape the conversation of the show by joining us in the chat room. Just go to youtube.com and search for Plain Talking UK. You can also become a Patreon of the show, and if you've got the money to do so, that's always very helpful for us for the running costs of the show in terms of media hosting costs, website hosting costs, and that kind of thing. And you can also donate by PayPal as well. So both of those methods you can find on our website at plaintalkinguk.com.
Yes, thank you very much to everyone who does donate. It does help us to bring the show each week to you guys and girls. And yeah. That is about it. Quick round robin, see what everyone's up to next week. We'll start with you, Mr. Retiree, Mr. Bounds.
Yeah, what do we got? Oh, I'm going to my second Keep Fit class tomorrow with Mrs. Nev. So when I went last week, I was crippled for 2 days after. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, nothing too major coming up. Or maybe some swimming on Friday if I've not actually injured myself completely tomorrow. But no, a gentle few days after that, because I will need it. But this weather's going to hold out till Saturday, so it'll be quite nice. And then it's going to rain a bit from Sunday onwards, so that might curtail outdoor activities. But yeah, looking forward to a nice few days of R&R.
Excellent. Andy, what about you? Anything exciting coming up in the week ahead for you?
No, I'm just slowly reintegrating myself into the workforce as my hand continues to heal. So nothing exciting. Another week at home.
Oh. I'll have to buy you a flight sim. Keep you company at home. He says no. He says no.
No, it's okay, thanks.
I'll tell you what you have to do. What you'll have to do, Andy, right, is you have to go on a certain website and buy yourself a piece of aircraft.
Oh, dear. Oh, right, okay. Blimey, I didn't know what you were going to suggest then. Yes, I'll go and look at bits of aircraft. Yeah, why not? Pass the time, I suppose.
There we go. What am I up to next week? Not a lot. Packing some more bits and pieces away. Gemma seems to be hell-bent on there being nothing left in the house before we move. There's really literally nothing to move by the time we get.
So are you going to have to sell any of your aircraft parts?
Oh, no.
Before you
move
into the new place?
Oh, there was a strict conversation, or a very in-depth conversation that happened before we put our house in the market to sell, and that was that in the new house, which is, I'm have to admit now, is considerably smaller than we currently have. There will be a room which will be the studio, and it will have the flight or the cockpit window from not the cockpit, the fuselage window section from the 777, and it will obviously have the window cut section from the L1011 TriStar in there, and there will be a shelf that houses the RB211 Stage 1 blade. So they'll all be in there, safe and sound.
I can't imagine you trusting all that to your local removals company.
Oh, no, I'm doing it myself. Oh, God, blimey. Do you know what? Moving aside from the aviation subject of the show just for a second, I don't know whether if it's the same for anyone else who watches and listens to the show in the UK or other countries, but have you ever noticed that when you put your house in the market and you have a sale board at the front of the house, and I had one today, you end up getting hundreds of flyers through the door from hundreds of different removals companies saying, use us. And I know, for me, it's going to be hire a van from the local company and do it myself.
Yep, there you go.
I spent 3 years working for one of the largest removals companies in the UK. I'll be pretty well on this. I'll do it on my own. I'll be good.
Good lad.
But yeah, Anyway, getting back to the show. Thanks for joining us tonight for episode 546 of the show. Big thanks to all the YouTube chat room for joining us tonight. And also not forgetting as well, everyone who downloads the show as an audio podcast, because there are a lot of you out there who do download the show as an audio podcast. So thank you very much.
I think Andy might want to say something.
Oh, Andy, say something. Oh, yes. Oh, can we have the update, if possible, on that certain thing that we need to talk about?
Yes, because Dirk asked the question, how are the donations rolling in? They are coming in thick and fast, but there are still places remaining. If you'd like to enter the draw for 2 hours in a full flight A320 sim with me and 3 of your guests, and the link is in last week's show notes as well. So if you do fancy having a go at that, it's just a donation of £30 and that full 2 hours could be yours. So there we go.
Yes, the link is on our Facebook page. So if you look on the PTUK Facebook page, if you're listening to this as an audio podcast, get yourselves over to our Facebook page. The link is on there to click on, and it takes you straight through. And it's an easy form, isn't it, Andy, just to fill out with all the details in, and drop your £30 in the box. And you could be sitting not just in an A320 sim, but you could be sitting next to our very own Andy. I mean,
oh yes. What more could you want?
That alone is a gold prize, by any stretch. So there we go.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And don't forget to put your name on the sheet as well. When you send it through, make sure you do put your name on there so we know who you are as well. That'll be excellent. So brilliant. Right, that's it then. That's where we are going to bring episode 546 to a close. As I said, thanks to everyone in the YouTube world for watching this evening, and to our audio downloaders. And hopefully we'll all be back next Wednesday on the show here at 7 o'clock on Wednesday, live, all being well. So from me, Carlos here, have a great weekend, and enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend. And don't forget, next weekend, it's going to be the Easter weekend here in the UK, so time to eat loads of chocolate Easter eggs, which I'm looking forward to. But Nev, would you like to say goodbye to all our amazing viewers?
Yes, thank you very much for listening and viewing tonight. Really appreciate it. Sorry that my light has gone off on one of my lighting events here. So, anyway, so thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again 7 o'clock Wednesday next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
There we go. That's another one in the can.
Very good.
Very good.
Excellent.
Apparently Masha FedExed all her stuff to the new address when she moved last. I mean, that is...
Oh, okay.
Some serious... I'd love to be able to do that. But...
Yeah.
It costs a fortune to move in the UK, hiring a company to do it. A lot of money. I think it's sort of...
Moving house is a faff.
Yeah.
Which is why I refuse to, and we've put the extension on at the moment.
Yeah. And I just think for the sake of... to hire a virtually brand new Luton van, big box van with a tail lift from our local company here, just around the corner from where I work, it's 93 quid for the day.
How many trips are you going to have to do in that, though?
With the amount of stuff that we've currently got left now, not many, because luckily the purchasers of our house are buying a lot of the furniture in the house because we're leaving it here, which is saving us a lot of hassle, which is awesome. Because we are moving from a 4-bed house to essentially a 2-bed or 3-bed, but it's 2.5-bed house. But it's a cottage. It's a smaller cottage, Andy, in the countryside. It's very nice and rural. Very nice.
Very classy. Yeah. Very classy.
And the selling point, as I've said before, for me, is the fact it's got a wood burner in the front room. You cannot beat a wood burner.
No, very nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be sort of end of June, hopefully. End of June, beginning of July, end of June. By the time we move, I expect, because before then I'm heading back to my second home, which is of course Malta, in June. So the second week of June, we're going to go back, and a certain member of our team will be living here for that week. So he's excited about that. But yeah, looking forward to going back there again for a week. But hopefully we'll come back after a week's holiday, and then the solicitors will be giving us a piece of paper saying, there we go, there's your move date. Get your van ready, pop your boxes in, and you're good to go. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. Got to get used to buying oil again as well now for the heating system. That'll be interesting. Not done that for 10 years. But it's quite nice that we are moving back to the village where we got married and the village where we brought our first house together, which is, we've kind of gone full circle, which is quite nice. So yeah, looking forward to that. But anyway, how is the extension getting on, Andy? How is the chaos that is Extensionville?
It's getting there.
You're tired of the dust and all the rubbish.
Fortunately, the big demolition work's done and all the new bits of steel are in, so now it's starting to build it all back together.
Ooh.
It'll be done before I know it, and I'll be sat on the patio in the sunshine saying, this is wonderful.
I was going to say, I know you're planning to get it done before the sort of summertime really kicks off, so you'll be able to enjoy it. Should be done in about 6 weeks, I reckon, finished. Yeah. Excellent. Even more reason to go and visit Andy. Hi, Nev.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, I think that's don't need to be asked twice. So,
no.
Yeah.
No, right.
I'll bring the beer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not that I probably need to.
Probably got beer, I think.
There's quite a bit in here at the moment, yes.
Oh, dear. Excellent. Right. I suppose we better let these wonderful YouTubers get back to their busy Wednesday evenings. So thanks from me to everyone on YouTube again tonight for joining us this evening. And also thanks to all the team, as always, for being awesome. Thanks, Andy, Nev. But
Pleasure.
Yes. Nev, would you like to say goodbye to our glorious listeners?
Yes, another great show. Thanks very much indeed to everybody who contributed into the chat room. We'll be back Wednesday at Wednesday at 7:00 p.m. UK time next week. Hope you have a nice remainder of the week and the weekend, and we'll see you then. Bye for now.